This week, we say goodbye to E3, Joseph Staten, and Dreams. May they rest in peace. Joseph Staten's not dead, but you get what I'm going for. But all is not lost, because Star Wars Jedi Survivor reveals a new trailer.
Let's go.
It's the Nerd Cave Newz, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, the predictor. I'm the prophet over here.
Let me back away before we get struck by lightning.
Joined along with the famous Las Vegas performer who tickles the ivories, known for his bedazzled tuxedos, the aerial artist who dances above him, and his pet tiger, Gino. Though he comes out to play with him at times. It's the amazing Bear Tony Lacini.
I do like the exposition, like the whole description of my ambiance and my pet tiger. I've always wanted a pet tiger.
Yep.
But they're very short supply here in Alabama.
They are.
But Bear Tony Linat, or what was it?
I have no idea. Yeah, I made up the last name. I was like, Amy even spelled it out for me. I'm like, I'm going to butcher this. You know what I mean? But Derek,
Tony Linacci.
Where does this rank in the ranking of the names? We rank them each and every week. Where does Baritoni Linacci rank?
I'm going to put it. Okay, so we got 9 names so far. So far, number sitting at the top, the King of the Mountain, Saris Othora, the Secret Keeper. Number 2, we got Trurog, the head of the Hutt crime family. Jebediah Larson, the horse slaughterer and hog milker. Jingo Huth, Ligurian god of the seas. Driktek, the Tralaxian. Monsieur Jean-Jacques Ducateau. Harmotzy Proudfoot of Hobbiton Hole. And lastly, Delphina Warrior Princess. I think this will go under Ligurian God of the Seas, only because, again, exposition, S tier. Like, description with the pet tiger, like, as the cherry on top, great. Name doesn't really, not the fact that you struggled to say it, that's not it. It doesn't feel like it matches the exposition. It feels like if you were talking about if he was sitting in a little corner of Little Italy in New York, talking about that would fit.
I think,
but
Amy put in there, she was trying to go with Liberace, but do you think of it that way? Linacci, so Baritoni Linacci fits a little bit better.
Yeah. But still, it's going to be number 6.
Number 6. Let's give it a round of applause, bro.
Hey, like those sound effects.
There we go. We paid a lot for those sound effects, guys, so make sure to go to patreon.com/NerdCave, support us there.
Just saying.
Zach butchered the name. I did butcher it. You know what I mean? They call me the Scourge of Quasi.
They do?
They do. Hey, guys, this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store and our wonderful patrons. But more about that later, because now is the time. I hope that you're ready. I hope that you got your spandex.
Been waiting 2 weeks for this.
You've been waiting forever. You've been holding it. You've been like, are we there yet? Are we close to a rest stop?
Smell it.
Well, baby, we ain't anywhere close. We all
See you next week, guys.
We're at the top of the mountain, and we only halfway there. First up this week, E3 is officially dead. ESA head blames cancellation on wider industry challenges. Won't say if the event will return.
So when he was asked what went wrong with the show this year, Pierre Lewis pointed to a larger industry challenges that proved, quote, too large to surmount. First, several companies have reported that the timeline for game development has been altered since the start of the COVID pandemic. Second, economic headwinds have caused several companies to reassess how they invest in large marketing events. And third, companies are starting to experiment with how to find the right balance between in-person events and digital marketing opportunities. Later in the interview, Pierre Lewis was asked if ESA members were no longer interested in the event, what E3 would look like if it continued, if E3 needed the three big platform holders to have any chance of success, and if E3 would return in 2024. Pierre Lewis did not provide any direct answers to any of these questions, though he did seem to deny that communication was an issue in setting up E3 2023, something IGN sources have said was a recurring problem. He directly confirmed that the cancellation of E3 would not impact the ESA's advocacy work for the games industry. Now, if y'all remember, 2 weeks ago, this was part of our show that, you know, E3 was in hot water, that so many people were pulling out that we just assumed, like, it's probably going to get canceled, like, or if anything, it's going to be a very hollow shell of its former self. And literally, 30 minutes after the show, I text Zach, because I'm just like, wonder if they've said anything. Sure enough, they said, yeah, E3's canceled. I said that to you, and I'm like, man, that was quick. So
yeah, it was like
we've been sitting on this for 2 weeks, but you know, we had to talk about it, you know, and I get it. Like, now, granted, while I don't like, yes, we're now on the backswing of COVID, but I think I'm not saying it's invalid, but I think using it as an excuse is not an excuse anymore to me. Now, the other ways about how we can now, like, what the result of what happened during COVID with how we consume digital media, like the whole like stay at home things, like just do it from like a digital platform, because Nintendo was ahead of this for years, even before COVID. Like they didn't go to E3, they just did like an in-office live stream from their own home, or their own office, really.
Yeah.
And that part I agree with. Like, I get it. Like, the whole like revenue game has changed. The whole timeline for developing games has changed, and how we view, because you know, out of COVID came the PlayStation Showcase.
Yep.
You know, Xbox has done their own digital things now. So that part I do agree with, and I get. But it's now lazy to say like, oh, it's COVID's changing it, and like the whole like blame it on COVID thing. And I'm like, okay, we're far enough removed from that to where that shouldn't be a factor anymore.
Yeah.
But I get it, but you should also be able to, like, in this day and age, especially with the technology we have, the media platforms that we have, to pivot and be like, hey, we know we want to do an in-person thing, but now we're going to switch to digital. But you know, to change this just only like a month and a half before the show is a lot, because you've already put deposits down, you've already made spaces, you've already made promises. And I get it. You can't just change on a dime, but you know, now, like the whole thing, like the whole reason I wanted to talk about this was the fact of I know they don't want to promise everything, considering how they had so much bluster, so much, you know, bravado about, oh, E3's back, we're going to bring it back and make it better than ever. And then it fell flat before it even arrived. They don't want to promise anything saying, oh, we'll definitely come back next year. We're definitely going to go back to the drawing board. But there's a 2-question thing. The first question I want to ask is this the end of E3?
Yeah, I think it's the end of E3. It's a huge money sink for everybody involved, from the ESA to the developers that come and build a booth and have playable vertical slices of their games and everything. You know, and things have just changed. You know, like if you don't have the big three, like, okay, they have, like, Microsoft stayed around for the last few E3s and everything.
Yeah.
But now they're on their own. And then you have every other developer, like, avoiding them like they've got the plague. You know, and it just is sending a message. It's like, this is damaged goods. We're not going to deal with this, you know.
I mean, when even Devolver won't show up, that should say something.
Yeah, and they literally like do their showcase from the trunk of their car out in the parking lot. Devolver's an interesting group of people. But that all being said, I think it's like, okay, to Amy's point, there's been a shift in how media is consumed and developed these days. It is much more effective and cost effective to produce something that is, you know, pre-recorded. You make sure all the demos work. You make sure that everything that you're going to show is there, packaged, cleaned, and everything. All the graphics are there. And then you put it out whenever you're ready.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to worry about your stage malfunctioning or something going wrong with the demo. Like, I remember Uncharted 4 had an issue when they were showing it. Like, it was like they had to literally restart the
Restart
demo.
it.
And it's
And what?
like, yeah, it's like, why do that?
Well, and you know what? Just a side note. That's funny because they actually made that a trophy in the game, actual game. It's like, hey, remember this thing from E3 that failed? We're gonna let you live it out if you want to. Um, but yeah. So my next question is, or I guess a two. No, yeah, just one question. Should E3 have come back? Should it, like, even though we probably wanted something in like a big like game showcase form, should E3 have attempted to come back, and should E3 come back in the future, like whether it's a big showcase like in-person event, or whether they do go back to doing a big digital media event, should E3 have come back, and should it come back down the road?
I think if they can find partners to be with them, game developers that have enough name recognition, then yeah, I think
Yeah.
they should come back, because E3 is a staple, and I think they can get past this rough patch if they do it right. They can't just say, "Hey, E3's happening," and they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
who's going to be there?" People, that's how this E3
Yeah.
2023 was. It was like,
Yeah.
well, what are the vendors who were going to be there? And it's like, yeah, you've opened it up to the public, but if there's nothing to see, there's no reason to go. And
Exactly.
I think that's where you have to get somebody that is like Jeff Keighley that can bring in people to partner with E3, the ESA and everything. And I don't know if anyone out there will take that chance.
Yeah.
The only person that I can think that could do something like that is actually Greg Miller.
Yeah.
I think he's got enough goodwill. People love Greg, and he's got enough
Yeah.
connections. I just don't see a lot of companies willing to put the money out there if it's something that's failed several times in a row. And that's
Yeah,
the sad
exactly.
thing about it. And to Amy's point, but making life smaller because it's more cost effective seems sad. And it is. Like, I would love to, like, we still get big Comic Cons and everything. I would love, like, my dream has always been to go to E3. And
Yeah.
it's like, I might not ever get that dream realized because of how it's being handled and everything. So I think if they partner with somebody that can actually put, developers in the convention hall, they will have a better chance. But when the summer has now got Summer Games Fest, it makes it a lot harder for a company to say, well, let's do both. And it's like, well, this one's going to cost us way more
Yeah.
than this one.
Because we all saw Ubisoft said, yeah, we'll be at E3 if we have it, and then they pulled out and said, no, we're going to Summer Game Fest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but no, you're right. They did, like, I understand they wanted they had their chest out, 10 toes down. They had all the bravados, like, we've got E3 and it's coming back.
Mhm.
But they put the cart before the horse. You're right. If they do decide to bring it back, they need commitments before they make an announcement. Like, they need to
Yeah.
have EA, at least one or two of the big three, from the get-go. When they make this if they ever make an announcement again,
Yeah.
have commitments from at least three big studios and several smaller B-tier studios from the jump, because them coming, obviously we saw no commitments, and then everyone decides to say we're not attending it, made it dead before arrival. So they definitely need to approach this differently if they want to do it again. But I'm also kind of in the boat with you. The way we consume digital media content has changed, and I don't want to say we'll never ever see it, because I think they might let it go away just state for a little bit. What they should do is watch Summer Game Fest, do their homework, see how they can make it, come back in maybe 3 years and attempt to make E3 again.
Yeah. I think if they do something like that, it could be successful. So for right now, as Murdoch says, rest in peace, E3.
Yep.
Let's move on to our second story. A little bit of interesting news from the Microsoft side of things. Joseph Staten is leaving Xbox, and Microsoft has confirmed it.
So Joseph Staten, head of creative on Halo Infinite and cinematic director on the first Halo games, is leaving Microsoft. I'll have more info to share soon, but for now, I'd just like to thank all my Xbox colleagues for all their understanding and support as I embark on a new adventure. Staten has long been one of the best known names behind the Halo franchise, having been cinematic director on Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, and Halo 3, and having served as lead writer on Destiny while with Bungie. He eventually left Bungie for Microsoft and served as a senior creative director, initially avoiding working on 343's Halo to focus on shaping franchise strategy for Microsoft Studios titles. He returned to the franchise in 2020 as campaign project lead and later head of creative, overseeing Halo Infinite. He then rejoined Xbox Publishing earlier this year at the same time that Microsoft announced the layoffs of 10,000 employees, including employees of 343. Staten had also written a number of Halo universe novelizations. Um, while I'm happy for him and I wish him best in his future endeavors, this is another nail in Halo Infinite's coffin. I'm just saying it now. Like, if he was head over the narrative, they probably told him like like that. You can go watch our review of Halo Infinite from last year. It was one of our first reviews we did.
Mm-hmm.
That little tease at the end of Halo Infinite, that may have teased some future cinematic or future story narrative content. I think they probably put the axe in that,
Yeah.
and he said he probably thought, well, what else do I have to do here? Let me go on to let me go on to greener pastures. So they seem to have parted on good terms. Like there's no animosity between them, but dollars to donuts, I would also, that would be my bet, is like if he was like over this department of the Halo Infinite,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say that, they came to him as like, look, you have all this ideas for extra story content. Those are not in our cards right now until we can get the multiplayer figured out. And he's like, then I think my time here is done. But yeah, that's just that just doesn't bode well for Halo Infinite's future plans for sure.
Yeah, like it was a few months ago, like you read the article that he went back to just Microsoft overall,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, this is weird, but he had been shaping, like we just read and all that, shaping like the
Mhm.
direction and all of that. I'm gonna make a prediction here, Derek. We'll make a prediction. If you want to take
Okay.
a bet, that Global Grill steak is on the table right here.
Yeah.
He will go back to Bungie, where all the people that he's worked with before, and
Mm.
he will helm the next bit of story for Halo.
Ooh.
Or this is my caveat here,
Mhm.
or he helps Bungie with like developing their new game that they're working on.
Oh. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he helps like get Destiny, like, because they delayed Destiny 3 to make more, to extend Destiny's 2 life
Mhm.
cycle. Maybe he finally comes in to help get Destiny 3 up and running.
Yeah, it could be that, but I thought they were working on like a non-Destiny title.
They were or they are. Don't want to put the nail in that coffin yet, but they are. I don't know, either one. I'm not going to make a bet because I agree with you, and that a bet only works if you disagree.
True, true. But you know what you can agree on, Derek?
What?
Using a creator code and supporting us at no cost. It literally costs you nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of
0.
crazy, literally. So you can support us by using our creator code
Mhm.
NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Game Store. Even on free games, it helps us out. But you can get games such as Hogwarts Legacy. You could get that Jedi Survivor game that's coming out next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
You can get some V-Bucks. No more Brawler Bucks; those are gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of those things. You like Fortnite? You can do all the Fortnite stuff, but you can get those awesome Sony games with our creator code NerdCave, and you can
Yeah.
be
Epic.
epic.
If you want to entertain for a minute, I have to call work real quick.
Okay. Entertaining. I'm entertaining. I'm entertaining. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. Derek's currently on the phone. I'm trying to get my camera fixed so it doesn't look like I got a big head, because that's what it looks like right now. But I hope everybody's doing well. Put a 5 in chat if you are sad about losing E3 like we are. It's kind of a crazy thing to like not have an E3. It's It makes no sense. Like, it makes sense, but it's like, if you would told me that like 10 years ago, I would have never believed you. I would have spit in your face. I would have spit in your face if I been expected. I 100% agree, Murdoch. 100%. The world is changing faster than we can comprehend. Yeah, yeah, it is. And it's kind of like, it's sad to lose such a staple in all of it. 7, Nate's like, you don't care. You're just like, yeah, yeah. Still, you don't care. I loved E3. Like, I remember sitting in my grandmother's house watching E3, G4 covering it and everything, and just soaking it all in. I remember like watching all the keynotes before we did like everything live and everything, and like texting Derek and texting Robbie and all of this. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Dan says, I'm not broken up about it. Hasn't been very relevant in recent years. True. Meh. I mean, we do have Nerd Cave Network, so exactly, you do have us. Yeah, I never watched it extensively. Okay, yeah, I could definitely like, if you weren't like super involved with it, like I can understand. But yeah, like it was like a huge part of like why I like gaming. Like, gaming is like my number one form of entertainment compared to anything else. Just because of like how much I consumed and like played games, and that's how I like stories delivered mostly. So, Mark says, I mean, also I never could watch while at work. You couldn't watch any of it live. Yeah, like I literally would plan band camp around E3. Like, I would make sure that E3 would not be at the same time as like band camp. That way I could have the time to watch it and do live streams and all of that when I was at Gulf Breeze and everything. Just because I was like, I want to be a part of the conversation. I want to talk about it. I want to, so I've always had to have a NCN style video to catch me up. Okay. Well, there you go. Hopefully more people will choose NCN over anything else. You know what I mean? We become everybody's Rocky Road. We're not just vanilla. We're Rocky Road. Forgot about Bandcamp. My gosh, I do not miss that. Guys, let us know how you're doing. What are you playing currently? Like, what is the game of choice at the moment? I did not get to play at all last week, but I'm currently playing through Plague Tale Innocence. That's on my list right now. So I'm trying to get through it. I next week Burning Shores comes out, which I'll be in Chicago next week. At the end of the week, and then the week after that is Jedi Survivor. We'll be playing that on stream. Hogwarts I've been playing as well, just on stream though. Murdoch says Gears of War 4 noise. I know we talked about that Tuesday. I'm glad you're hopping in on it. Nick says Hogwarts noise. I just need to play more. Hit that thumbs up button on the stream. Yeah, guys, hit it, smash it. Message retracted. What? Why did you retract your message? Guys, I hope y'all are doing well though. Yeah, like Plague Tale Innocence. If you played Innocence, well, I'm playing Requiem. That's what I'm playing. If you played Innocence, you definitely need to check out Requiem. Really, really good, and they've definitely improved the gameplay and the game flow and everything. So I'm really liking it. The acting is really good. The music's great, and the gameplay cycle is really, really good. Dan says, I just finished Miles Morales, and a new update just came out for Space Engineers, so I'll be enjoying that. Nice. So that was I know we talked about it before. Was that your first time through Miles, or is that your second? Because I enjoyed Miles Morales. I thought it was really good. I'm really, really looking forward to Spider-Man 2 at the end of the year, October, something like that. So, second time. Okay, nice. Yeah, I know I played some, if not all of it on stream. But yeah, I really liked it. So, I want to go back and play one again before the next one comes out. But we got a lot of interesting stuff like coming up, like game wise, like Diablo 4 is coming out, Final Fantasy 16, Burning Shores, Jedi Survivor. Those are kind of like the big ones for like this part of the year, and then the end of the year, we got like Spider-Man and some other things that are coming out. What is your most what game are you most excited about? I would love a Gears of War 6. Like every time we talk about Gears of War, I was like, I would love to see actually like where this thing goes, and it would be interesting because one of the main characters in the main character in Gears of War 5 is played by Alana Pierce, and she works at Sony Santa Monica now. So it would be like really weird, like her going back to voice her character in Gears of War 6 when she works at Sony. I don't know how that would go. Getting excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that's right. Tears of the Kingdom. They just dropped a new trailer this week. Like an actual like trailer. Like I haven't watched it. I hadn't checked it out. I don't even know if Derek put it on the list. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think he did. I think he was just like, no. He's like, no. Put a 5 in chat if you watch the new episode of the Mando. You know what I mean? If you watch the episode of Mando. I'm just curious. Watch it on watch it on stream? Oh, you're talking about Tears of the Kingdom? We can. 5, 6. What does the 6 mean? I don't know what a 6 means. Should we watch the trailer while we wait on Derek? Put a 5 in chat if y'all want to watch the trailer while we wait on Derek. Microsoft may be changing the print screen button on the keyboard to launch a sniping tool instead. A what tool? That's weird. I don't even know what that means. Okay. So I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to start a new one. Okay, everybody wants to watch it, so we're going to watch it. Let me make sure that it's set up real quick. Then we're going to watch this trailer, y'all, while we wait on old Derek. Oh, Derkatron. I don't even know what that is, bro. I don't even know what that is. All right, here we go. All right, guys, we are checking out The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the official trailer. Let's do it. We got some clouds. Lots of clouds. Like beating up okay. Boy, he's trying to be Master Chief. Look at him. He's like, I'm just falling. Now, do you lose stamina gliding still? That's my question.
All right, sorry, I'm back.
All right, we're watching the trailer right now.
I see that.
Everything looks super barren still. Is this a new beast? Oh, this is the Ganon again. Go figure.
Shocker.
There's old Zelda. We got some Viking ship going on.
Yeah.
Oh, some lasers.
Ooh, bubbles.
I do like the spinning staff thing.
Yeah.
Zelda, we rely on your knight and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Link.
Okay. Dope.
Death Star. Ooh, timey-wimey stuff.
I like the... That'll be cool. Whoa.
I know why I am here. It's something
Some
only I
heavy
can do.
earrings.
Do not
You
look
going
away.
Super Saiyan, y'all.
You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
Rah! Oh, the music kicking. I like that.
But
Are they bringing back
you
the
are not
champions?
alone. Link.
You would assume so.
Hope.
We got something else. I feel it.
Link. You must find me.
Did we have a date before?
Yeah, we've had it.
Okay. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah. I thought it was the 14th, but you know,
All right.
still. But yes, we've had a day.
Okay. Derek, what did you think about the trailer?
Well, a little bit I watched. You know, it's very cool. Like you could definitely. We've been wanting to see like more gameplay and like more of the story. Like, of course, I couldn't hear it
Real
through
time.
my end. But from what I saw, it's just like we got some more story details. I mean, shocker, Ganon's the villain, or Ganon's the villain, and it's like,
My
okay,
God. Like, how many times
Yeah.
can you have the same flipping villain?
you know, it's
Yeah,
like
I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
right. It's like how
Like,
many
look at-
times can you give Venom or Green Goblin as the villain in Spider-Man?
You know, or like Bowser's the villain.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times could that happen? But like, yeah, honestly, it was still the villain. Like, at least it was a different flavor. But yeah, like overall, like, I don't know. Like, it looks interesting. Like the new updates on things, but it still looks super barren.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Like hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like maybe it'll give a little bit more variety. Maybe it'll let you. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate because I didn't play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Dan says Hyrule Castle Courtyard no longer seems to be a field of death. Well, that's good because Dan once tricked me to go into there, and I got murdered like nobody's business. I hope they have some proper dungeons as well. That's what Dan says. Nate is like, it's about exploring. Is it really? Or is it about the kingdom crying?
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I've got enough handkerchiefs for this.
Right.
Amy says, I hate to say it, but a little disappointed by overall look. Yeah. The beautiful scenery of barrenness. I don't know about that. Like, it's all right. It's all right game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. It's no God of War
Yeah, it's no God of War, y'all. You know
or
what I mean?
Horizon.
Like any PlayStation game.
know.
Everybody's gonna get so angry right now.
I know. Everyone, put your torches and pitchforks down.
Oh my gosh!
Says the Sony ponies. You know.
Hey,
We call it like we see it.
If the shoe fits, you know.
And
What
we're
I
talking
mean?
about Shuhei Yoshida.
Oh yeah, full of grace. that would
My
be
children.
a perfect time to like go into Sony news, but
I know.
we're not there.
But we got Star Wars news first.
Murdoch's like, stop. Those games look even better on PC. You know, like, why pay that much for PC when you can play it on what it's meant to be on with a real
exactly.
controller? With a haptic feedback, baby. With a haptic feedback. Haptic feedback. All right, we're getting into the weeds again, Derek.
Yeah, no.
We're getting in the weeds. So let's talk about some Star Wars game news.
Mhm.
First up, Coruscant is a playable planet in Jedi Survivor, but it may not be open world.
Sharing the news at Star Wars Celebration not long before not long before the final trailer for Survivor released, Stig Asmussen confirmed Coruscant was in the game. Quote, "We're taking our Metroidvania approach a step further, and just to talk about another planet, we're going to have Coruscant as well. I think there's been a lot of speculation on that, and I'm just confirming it here." Though Asmussen did talk about Coruscant in a conversation about the larger explorable areas included in Survivor, EA Star Wars communications lead Andy McNamara seemed to pull back expectations a bit on Twitter. Quote, "To be clear, Stig never claimed Coruscant was a freely explorable open world, as one Twitter account claimed. He only confirmed it as one of the destinations in the game. Survivor has amazing planets to explore and our biggest environments to date, but wanted to be clear on what was said. It's therefore unclear how much Coruscant will feature in Jedi Survivor. It could be as open a world or area as the other locations, or it may just be featured as part of one particular story mission, much like the final area of Jedi Fallen Order." First of all, I just want to throw out there, I'm glad, like with Andor, because I think the new season of Bad Batch, we saw some Coruscant, and with Mandalorian, like non-spoilers, for the season for season 3. But I'm glad to see Coruscant because many have speculated since the prequels what happened to Coruscant after Order 66, and I'm glad we're getting those answers or just seeing parts of it explored in all across Star Wars media. But do you think, because now granted I do think there will be some areas playable, but do you think because it's not going to be as open as some of the other areas we've seen in other trailers of Survivor, that Coruscant may be like another hub world, like another, like we set up base on Coruscant?
I don't think we set up base. It wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah,
Because it's like right in the dragon's lair, essentially.
but then they would, but then that's also makes sense because they would never expect it to be right under their nose.
Maybe. I feel like they're going there to like retrieve like some sort of holocron or some sort of like teaching, or maybe like
I mean, I think it's definitely on the table. We go to the ruins of the Jedi Temple for sure.
yeah, that would be interesting. I feel like this might be more linear than what we have gotten in more of the levels and everything, which is fine by me. Like I don't need super open world and everything compared to the other parts of the game. If the story is really crafted around what they're talking about on Coruscant, I know the big set pieces will be there. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And, that's fine by me. Like, Coruscant is such a big place. I feel like you can definitely get, lost in there,
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious where we're going to go with that. And I'm really excited about it because I think it could be something, really interesting.
So my question now is the over under on, since we are going to Coruscant, that we will not necessarily fight, and maybe not even run into, but we will see in some shape, form, or fashion the Emperor.
I don't think we see the Emperor.
Okay. Because
Um,
spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order, real quick, because I played it in 2019. Fast forward like 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it, because 3, 2, 1. We did see Vader at the end of Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's totally on the table, but I don't know if we will get it too. I'm kind of with you. I don't know if we will get it.
like if you put the Emperor in there, like he's not getting out of there. Nobody's getting out of there. You know what I mean? Like somebody would have to sacrifice themselves, sort of deal, and then it's like Sidious is not just going to kill somebody. He's going to like try to get all the information out of them. So I don't think Sidious is going to be there. Maybe Vader. Like I
Yeah.
could see that, but like
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're going to get that. And I do
Okay.
agree with Dan. Sidious did hide under the Jedi's noses the entire time because like the Jedi Temple was actually like built on like an ancient like Sith like temple
Yeah.
as well and everything. Um I just don't think we're going to get Sidious. Like maybe Vader.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just like he's too powerful. Both of them are too powerful for Cal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It like literally like think about the last part of Survivor. Like,
Yeah.
did you fight him? No, you ran the way. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, like you tried but failed miserably.
Yeah, it's like you literally had to like bring down the whole base, which was cool to see in Kenobi. Like
Yeah.
they brought that into Kenobi and everything. So,
Right.
but yeah, I don't think we're going to see them. But we do have a little bit more Jedi Fallen Order
Yeah.
Order news. Jedi Fallen Order nearly wasn't a Jedi game due to Lucasfilm initially pushing against the idea.
Speaking during an interview with The Guardian, Star Wars Jedi Survivor game director Stig Asmussen has revealed that Lucasfilm was initially set against making Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order a Jedi game due to being so protective over the Star Wars canon. Asmussen that the company had to do with the Jedi. They were really uncomfortable with Jedi, and they said, let's reset this. Let's call this character a Force user. I'm like, well, I think you have the wrong person for the job. That's not my background. My background came from God of War. I've never worked on a shooter, and you need a different team to do that. You might as well be asking me to make a racing game, and eventually, over time, we built that trust to the point where we ended up calling the franchise Jedi. I'm glad they decided to not stick to their guns, because I think without Stig, that Jedi Fallen Order, well, or Force User Fallen Order, or whatever you want to, whatever
Yeah.
they would have called it, would not have done as well, and Respawn would have not have been bought by EA, and Star Wars would have definitely pulled the plug completely on EA
Yeah.
having Star Wars licensed games. So I definitely think it was a good idea, and I'm not surprised because Lucas, like Star Wars, like the fan base is very overprotective about some things more than they should be. But the fact that Lucasfilm was like not even willing to let the name have Jedi in it, it's like, bro, you're not. There's some things that are okay for gatekeeping. This should not be one of them, especially. And I get it. EA had not been batting 1,000, since they allowed them to have that license agreement.
True.
And I get it, but at the same time, you got to at least play ball a little bit and give them the chance to. Because if Respawn had fall flat on their face, then the next time Lucasfilm, if Ubisoft, because Ubisoft is working on a Star Wars game, if they were to want to do that and Respawn had fallen on their face, Lucasfilm would have definitely had the pull to be like, no, you could do a bounty hunter, you could do a pod racing, you could do any other thing. You are not touching this because we don't want it dragged through the mud anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want the horse beaten any more than EA did. But
Yeah.
I'm glad they at least worked it out and Stig remained there, because I wondered where he would have gone had he indeed left Respawn.
Yeah, it's like showing his pedigree and everything being over at, Sony and everything. It's like, hey, I
Yeah.
made God of War. God of War is like literally one of the big franchises
Yeah.
at Sony and everything. And it's like this style of combat is what I'm known for. I'm not going to be able to make a good game for you
No.
if you are limiting me
Handcuffing
to.
me.
Yeah, and thankfully it turned out right, and we
Yeah.
didn't have, anything weird and all of that. But
We're days away from a sequel.
days away from the sequel, and I'm excited that we're getting the second one because, I know Brandon is a huge Jedi Fallen Order fan. Like he literally like coached me through it, and like he like since I played it, like he would send me like hints that, oh hey, it's coming out. And he would like send like little
Yeah.
articles and different things like being excited for it because it is such a good game, and now it has like a lot more customization with BD1 and Cal as well. Like you can put facial hair, you can do all of these kind of stuff. It's not just the ponchos, which ponchos were cool,
Yeah.
making the ship a different color and BD1 a different color, but now like actually getting like more in-depth customization to make the character your own, I think is going to be a really cool way to further the story along and make it more of what you want it to be than just like, oh, well, this is my avatar in here. You actually get to own a little bit more. But I am excited for Jedi Fallen Order. I know I'm excited for Survivor even more, Derek.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody else is too. Can we change his face? No, you can't change his face. You got that dude.
I mean, with now that he's got a beard growing out, he looks a lot better.
Yeah. So, guys, put a 5 in chat if you are excited for Jedi Survivor, because I know I definitely am.
Put 5 on it.
Let's move into the PlayStation news. New Sony patent reveals controller that can change temperature during gameplay.
So named simply controller, the patent was spotted by Xputer and suggests that the peripheral in question could be made of softer material as opposed to the hard plastic used in modern controllers. The description in the patent reads as follows: a controller includes a sensor that uses an elastically deformable elastic member, detects the user's contact with or deforming action of the elastic member, and outputs an electrical signal based on the detected contact of or deforming action in question. It adds that a temperature control apparatus such as a Peltier element capable of electrically changing temperature may be provided on the front surface of or inside the elastic matter. This means that if a player enters a hot or cold area during a game, the pad would adjust its temperature according via an electrical signal received. Why didn't they just say that at the end? Why did they have to use all these weird phrases? Anyway, I digress.
Apparatus.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're trying to sound more intelligent than you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like, again, we've seen Sony since last year putting in a lot of patents for a lot of different things, and so far some of them have come to fruition. Some of them have yet to see the light of day. Now this could be one of them. Here's my thing: that this all sounds cool, and it would be another layer of immersion because we've seen like the haptic feedback, pulling back the bow, feeling the reverberation, hearing the sounds come through the controller. That's another level of immersion. So adding this, like, could you imagine going to Muspelheim in God of War and like feeling the heat?
Yeah.
And then going to not Vanaheim. What's the ice place?
Helheim.
We could go to Helheim or the other ice place.
You're talking about Niflheim that got frozen.
Yes, Niflheim, and feeling the cold through it. That would be another level of immersion that you could provide. But here's the real question: how's the battery life going to be? Because if you add another thing like that, it's just going to drain it even worse. Like, I applaud you for wanting to give gamers so much more. But I have another problem too. Is like, what about people with sweaty hands? Like, if you make it hot, it's just going to make it worse, and it's going to make the controller like literally slip from you like an ice cube melting. But what that battery life going to do is the real question.
Yeah, Barrick says goodbye battery life. Yeah, I think this is going to be a PlayStation 6 thing. This is not a PlayStation 5 kind of deal. Because I think they do have to figure out the battery life. The PlayStation 5 controller lasts a lot longer than the PS4 one has. So it's definitely gonna pull a lot of power. I think it's a cool concept. I just need to see that it actually like works and actually like makes the experience more instead of just like, oh, well, it's, you feel a little cool on your hands, feel a little warm on your hands. It's like, what if my hands get sweaty? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean,
Mom's
I'll admit
spaghetti.
when there's vomit on his sweater already. Okay. Because I'll admit, I when I get really into a game, especially like an intense boss fight, I get sweaty hands, and I don't, and at that point in time, I don't feel like my hands getting hot is going to help me game any more than I need to.
Mhm.
Nor do I care about being immersed in the game. I just want to finish the fight or finish the section and move on. I don't know, like it also reeks of like cheap icy hot. You know what I mean? Like especially you go from hot to cold. It's like I don't know. It's a cool idea, but I don't think this one needs to see the light of day.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make it a little bit more interesting. And Murdoch, they will make it optional to turn on and off. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like haptic feedback where it's literally built in. It's always going to be there type deal. I think this is going to be something that, when you're going to a boss battle, you're turning this off so you can
Oh, yeah, for
focus
sure.
on it and that sort of deal. But, at least that's better news than what we've got coming up next. Dreams live support is ending September 1st.
While no new updates will be planned for the do-it-yourself title after this date, players will still be able to play, create, and share content going forward. However, Dreams is also migrating to a new server from late next month, with players given a 5 gigabyte storage limit for their creations. Crucially, Dreams is not being pulled from sale and will still be available to purchase after September 1st. Media Molecule is naturally looking ahead to its new project, and while it isn't saying much right now, it has revealed, quote, that it is not Dreams 2 or the Dreams IP. We know this won't be an easy message for everyone to hear, and it's certainly not been an easy decision. Dreams has been a special project for Media Molecule in helping this burgeoning community of game developers, tinkerers, creatives, collaborators, and dreamers grow and express themselves remains one of the best things we've ever done. Thank you for being part of it with us. We look forward to you joining us on our next adventure. And then, of course, talking about the 5 gigabyte storage, the article went on to list a bevy of different changes that they're going to have, for this, coming in the next month or so, for Dreams. But I'm not, too much minutia
Yeah.
that we don't need to get into because we don't care about them. But granted, it was in like a beta form for like several years longer.
Mhm.
But the story mode just launched in 2020, so the whole game as a whole ain't that old. So the
Yeah.
fact that they're already ending support for it definitely means that they did not get the ROI. And Sony, I'm sure, like they said, their next project is not involving Dreams in any sort of fashion. I'm sure Sony went to them and was like, look, you took way too long getting this game
Yeah.
off the pot from the get-go. If we allow you to do this, it will be PlayStation 7, if that. It's like we gonna let you just stay on this. We're gonna let you see what else you have to offer, because while this game had a lot of great creation tools, this game ROI wise did not hit, and we need
Yeah.
you to be the Media Molecule that we know you can be and make great games. So it was a long time coming. I'm just surprised it was sooner rather than later.
I'm not surprised at all. Jim Ryan is like, okay, I need y'all making games. They're
Yeah,
already
exactly.
they're already pushing Naughty Dog, Sony Santa Monica, and several
Mhm.
others to divide and like hire more people and get
Mhm.
games moving and everything. And then you got Media Molecule over here like, oh, Dreams and all of this, and
Yeah.
it's like everybody else is pulling their weight in Sony. Media Molecule has not pulled their weight in a long time. So I the writing has been on the wall. I think this is just par for the course, and I'm
Yeah.
glad. I hate it for them. I really do. But at the same time, it's like, okay, Dreams did not work out, and we saw this way before it even came out. It was not going to hit. It was not going to be the next Minecraft, and
Yeah.
it just you gotta poop or get off the pot, and
Yeah.
they got to get off the pot. Somebody else has got to go.
Yep.
You know
More
what I mean?
more like dump it down the drain.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, what do you think they're going to work on next?
Well, it's easy to say it's going to be another inspiration, because before that was Little Big Planet, and granted it was a
Mhm.
platformer, but you could also do a lot of customization, a lot of level creations, and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, which is kind of what they, that's pretty much what the concept of Dreams became. But it's easy to say, and again, it's easy to say that could be another creation or like a little indie game, but I
Tearaway.
would like to see them do a Sucker Punch, a Naughty Dog, a
Gorilla.
Gorilla, and do a complete 180 and do something different. Go outside their comfort zone, do something. It doesn't have to be gritty, it doesn't have to be dark, it doesn't have to be like in your face flashy, but I would like to see them go to another genre, not do a platformer. Asobi's got that on lock with Astro Boy, or no, not, is it Astro Boy? No. What was the platformer game for
Astrobot.
PS5? Astrobot, thank you. Astro Boy, that's an anime. Anyway,
Yeah.
Astrobot, they've got that unlocked. That's going to be Sony's new platforming studio. So now this gives Media Molecule a thing to basically like, hey, do something different. Like go wild. Like the world is your oyster. Right now is the time to be bold, be innovative. And I'm sure that's what Jim Ryan is like wanting to them to do too. He's like, hey, Guerrilla went from just a mediocre shooter studio to now a huge open world, take the world by storm RPG title. So it's like, we know you could do that too. We've seen you make great games. Now we want to see you push the envelope. Now, what the matter is, because Dreams was gestating for like 10 years almost before it launched, they have to put a shorter leash on Media Molecules. Like, look, we don't want to pressure you, but at the same time, we don't also want to give you a long leash and then you make out another mediocre title. We need you to get an idea. Like, they should have already been probably gestating on ideas already, but I don't know.
Several.
They have to pull in the reins a lot with them for sure.
Yeah, it can't be another Little Big Planet. Like, the Steam's already lost on that. Tearaway is an interesting game, the two that they made, but I think, like, they could even live in the vein of like the Concrete Genie developers. I think it's like Pixel Opus or something like that.
Opus.
Yeah. I loved Concrete Genie. It was a great game. Like, start by making something that just like gets you out there and kind of clears the air, while bigger part of your team is working on something that is going to set the name, set y'all up for success. But something that's on, Concrete Genie. I love that game. Amy said Concrete Genie was so cool. It was an amazing game. I loved every minute of that game. Yeah. And I think it could be something really interesting, like that Journey. Like, those games are so, like, you talk about Journey and everybody's like, yeah, Journey. Like, they know exactly what it is. So I think they could do something that's more like indie-esque to get moving, but they definitely need something big and dramatic.
Well, we saw like with another studio like that, Obsidian, they're making, they have their huge open world RPGs, coming with this, was it Outer Worlds 2 and Outer Worlds 1, but they also did the small things like Grounded, like Pentiment, like those were those passion projects. Like, I could totally see Media Molecule doing that in the same vein, where they do a smaller title and then while they're working on the next big thing for their studio. But that would show off a great range, because I think while I don't think Media Molecule was ever on the level of like a Naughty Dog or a Santa Monica, I think that they could be like the next best thing, and they could be in the same vein without having to be on the same level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, what if I'm just saying this, like, I think the people that make It Takes Two out Media Molecule.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can even say Pixel Opus out Media Molecule. Media Molecule with Concrete Genie.
So it's like, okay, you've got to step up. Same thing with Quantum. Oh my God, they made it was a horror game where you had options.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, Until Dawn. Supermassive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they outdid the Heavy Rain people with their own kind of stuff, and then they came out with Beyond, not Beyond Two Souls, the Detroit Become Human, which was an amazing game. So it's like, okay, you've got to step up to the plate, you got to deliver, and I think Jim Ryan is hot and heavy on their case, as it needs to be. They need to make something. So I'm excited to see what Media Molecule will be able to do. But Derek, let's jump into the PlayStation Quickies.
So first up, Sony reportedly has unannounced hardware coming out before the PS5 Pro. Sony is also reportedly working on a new handheld featuring haptic feedback, adaptive streaming of up to 180p or excuse me, 1080p 60 FPS. However, PS Vita 2 rumors shot down by Jeff Grubb, but hints at cloud streaming handheld, so the Vita stays dead. Rumor, new PlayStation Showcase happening before Summer Game Fest. Sony reportedly stops automated purchase confirmation emails for PS Plus games. PS Plus Extra and Premium games for April are highlighted by Kena Bridge of Spirits, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, Slay the Spire, Riders Republic, Doom Eternal, and more. Sony launches PlayStation Esports YouTube channel. Sony criticized by patent expert for being, quote, childish after calling rivals, quote, inferior in patent application. Accessibility tags begin to roll out on the PlayStation Store to help players identify the accessibility features available in games. Final Fantasy XVI has officially gone gold ahead of its June release. HBO's The Last of Us will be filming Season 2 in Vancouver. Following that, The Last of Us HBO exec talks Joel's fate in Season 2, saying he doesn't feel constrained by the source material. The Last of Us Part 1 PC fixes are being prioritized over Steam Deck compatibility. For Horizon Forbidden West engine is being used by several PS studios for new games. God of War Ragnarok's Chris Judge calls for end to console wars during BAFTA speech. Ragnarok's New Game Plus mode is now live with new enhancements, boss battle tweaks, and more. Let's go. We didn't have to wait a year from the initial release this time to get New Game Plus.
Yeah, just just dropped out of nowhere. And I was like,
exactly.
Okay, awesome.
And it's like, and here you go. Nani?
Yeah. I love it. And the PS Plus Extra and Premium games, like if you've not played Kena Bridge of Spirits, you need to check it out. It is a phenomenal game. Ton of fun. And it's like the only problem with it is like if you're on a harder difficulty, like it's like almost too hard. But if you like drop it down, then it was like way too easy. Like there's like their fight, like their difficulty is like not matched the best.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with the game, in my opinion. But it's really, really good. And, Doom Eternal,
Yeah.
Good game.
Yeah.
Good game. Yeah. And that's kind of weird that the HBO's just like, hey, we're not going to do whatever the source material tells us. That's like, that's the whole reason why people love the show. But it's like, oh, we can't get rid of Pedro Pascal because, like, he's our bread and butter right now.
No, yeah.
As they
I don't know,
say,
like,
he's a hot commodity.
Yeah, just a little bit, but Daddy Pedro as they call him. But
I think it's Zaddy. That's how it's pronounced.
Anyway, we're not going to get in those weeds. The only thing I have to say is like I am glad that Horizon, like Guerrilla, has built a game engine that other studios covet to use. Like we've seen Kojima use it for Death Stranding 1 and presumably Death Stranding 2. The only thing I caution is don't be afraid to pull the plug. And, if the engine doesn't work for your game or gives your game issues like running wise performance, because as we've seen with EA, they were chained to that Frostbite engine for all of their games until Respawn came in and it's like, we're not doing that for Jedi Fallen Order. We're going to use our own engine. And you know what? The game looked great without it. So that is proof that you don't always need to rely on a powerful engine to make a game.
Yeah.
So while the Decima engine is great, don't caution Sony Studios to not feel chained because whatever engine Santa Monica is using is great too. So don't feel constrained like you have to use it just to make your game. Whatever engine makes your game run the best, use that.
Whatever tool that works best for you, somebody who will like get caught up in the gear and everything. And case in point, Halo Infinite, like they're tied to that slip space engine, and it is so difficult to work with that they've had so many issues, and now they're like trying to like switch over into the next game or whatever and all of that. So it's like, look, this is why you don't do that. Don't tie yourself down to things that you cannot handle. It's like using all for one. It's like if you tried to use all of it at one time, your arms and legs would literally blow off your body.
Yep. Or just be severely broken and unusable.
Yeah. And you don't want that. You don't want that. But
I like my limbs attached.
I do too. But I would take all for one. You know what I mean?
I would too.
Or one for all. I take all for one too. You know what I mean?
You know, if I could have all the quirks I wanted to, I would definitely want that.
Yeah. And have that like creepy piano music play every time I like showed up.
No, that strange operatic music. It's like, bro, like in season 3 that was fine, but the fact that they keep using it, like, I granted they're stuck with it, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel it. Anyway, we're in the weeds.
I love it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just like, yeah, that's gonna be my theme song.
You know what? That tracks actually. That would be a on brand for you.
The quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/NerdCave, and you can help us out by making awesome content. The more people support, the more content we'll be able to make. So go over to patreon.com/NerdCave. Now to the Patreon quick hits.
Starting off, Gamescom opening night live confirmed for August 22nd. EA reveals new logo for EA Sports Football Club, or FC. More info to come in July. Prime Video placeholder hints at Super Mario Bros. Movie home streaming date for May 9th. Not even barely a month after the movie's out. That's weird, if true. Following that, the Super Mario Bros. Had the highest global opening ever for an animated feature. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog hits 1 million downloads as one of Steam's highest rated games ever. Lord of the Rings mobile game launches on May 10th. Tekken 8 crossplay confirmed by Katsuhiro Harada. Alice Asylum has been refused funding by EA. Resident Evil 4 Remake microtransactions added to allow players to quickly upgrade weapons. THQ Nordic shoots down claims that AEW Fight Forever is, quote, ready. Persona 3 and Jet Set Radio remake footage reportedly leaks online. QuakeCon 2023 returning as first in-person event since 2019. Nintendo Live, an in-person fan event, takes place in Seattle in September. Blizzard confirms new Diablo 4 story content will drop every 3 months. Following that, Diablo 4 campaign can be skipped once you have completed it. I don't know how I feel about that because, granted, if it's for New Game Plus or for your story to carry over and like go to the next tier, unless the end game content is just bananas crazy, then I could see you skipping it. But I don't get this. Diablo 4 seasonal battle passes to take players around 80 hours to finish. Lord of the Rings Gollum has gone gold. Street Fighter 6 showcase confirmed for April 20th, promises extended final look at upcoming fighter. Redfall will only launch with quality mode on Xbox, so no performance mode, at least at launch. So 30 frames per second locked in. Only because it didn't, 2 weeks ago, we covered the PlayStation Plus, or Essentials games for April, but later that night, they talked about the games with gold. So this month, for the entire month, you get Outer Space Couch Edition. And from April 16th to May 15th, you get Peaky Blinders Mastermind.
I didn't even know Peaky Blinders had a game. But
Me either.
I'm sure it is straight up trash.
Yeah, I think it's a top-down strategy game.
I'm sure it's straight up trash.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. Like I had to like catch myself from laughing. But the dramatic music is produced by Quirk.
That would make sense too.
Yes, and thank you to all of our wonderful patrons for the wonderful, wonderful support. Now, Derek, we've got a segment that doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
but
I try. I really try.
Derek tries sometimes, you know what I mean? But then he phones it in pretty hard every now and then. You know, just phones it in.
Rude.
Just phones it in. Just, just makes it all, just phones it in.
Okay. All right. You know what? You can make the doc next time.
Just phones it in, It's like, what do we got here, What do we got here? As I say, I was doing all of that to set up for
pull the trailer
this.
up.
Yeah.
That you should have had pulled up a while ago. Slacking on
dude,
your job. Phoning in your job.
It was already pulled up. It was already pulled up, Derek. Thank you very much. Sure. Mister, I won't bet you a delicious steak because I'm scared.
Fool me once.
I'm scared. All right.
You can bait me all you want to. I'm not bait. I know when to not bet on a horse.
Oh, I'll get you, boy. I'll get you.
Sure you will.
I'll find that sweet spot. And I'll be That boy. So, Derek, intro this segment.
So this is the coolest thing I saw this week, where I look back at through the YouTubes of Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and I look to see if there's anything interesting that catches my eye, so that way we could share it with you lovely people. And this week I actually found something. We've got at Star Wars Celebration the final trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Sand. Anakin hates it.
Child when they sent you off to war. Now look at you. The weight of it.
Oh, dang. Look at that. There's Coruscant.
Yep, that's Coruscant for sure.
He's a big boy. Oh, he's got
Get off me.
jets.
Careful about who you scan. Come on.
I cannot
So will we confirm like float downs?
Apparently.
or where the line is
Oh.
drawn.
Ooh, yes.
Oh!
man.
Oh!
That's epic.
Okay, Jedi Temple.
These are
Yep.
times. We have few.
He's got his girlfriend.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Rancor.
Oh,
And they will always be against us.
there's greasy money.
Do we get to control it?
Now or never.
Whoa,
What
whoa,
is
what in the world?
Our destinies are intertwined.
He's like that bounty hunter from the Clone Wars.
But I can tell you
Dirge.
this,
Ooh, whoa.
if there is any hope. for survival,
Droidicas. What?
Yeah,
That is a trade federation.
yeah.
Oh, he's going to be so hard to kill. Oh, my God.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be so hard
He's
to kill.
going to be a tank for sure.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Let's go,
that
baby.
looks delicious.
It does.
All right, Derek. We got the final trailer. What is your
Yeah.
hype meter at?
Oh, after this, it's a solid 9 for sure. Like, and again, I gotta finish playing through Jedi Fallen Order, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it's again like, what can I compare it to? Not God of War, but it was another game that had like a good start, and then like the sequel was so much better. Of course, I can't think of it now, but it's like you take
Horizon?
all the feet. Yes, that one's I don't know if that's the example I was thinking of, but that's a good example too. But it's like you had a solid base to create,
Mm-hmm.
and you took everything, like all the feedback, and expanded upon what people wanted differently in this game, and you're expanding upon the story, like just everything. Like I would assume like throwing that speeder bike trooper is like a cutscene or like a
Yeah.
cinematic thing, but still the fact that that's an option or just even plausible in
Yeah.
the game is great to know, because it's like, man, if I could throw you into an ATST, let's go.
Yeah.
And pull people out of an AT-AT or
ATST.
ATST, yeah, like that's great, so I'm ready for this. I'm ready to see, because we saw that the person in that yellow suit armor, whatever it was, for like that brief second, I think was the person in the tank, that's been teased from the very first trailer.
Yeah.
Obviously this is going to be probably centered around them,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to play a big part in the story, so I can't wait to see what kind of shenanigans they get into. Like, I want to, lately Star Wars, especially from these other pieces of fiction like Mando, Andor, you're waiting for those cameos, baby, and I can't wait to see what cameos Survivor has up its sleeve.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Mine is like at a 7.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, like I'm excited. Like I think once I start playing it, I'll be more excited. Plus, I've
Yeah.
also been like extremely busy, so I haven't like been like
Oh yeah,
in the mentality of gaming and everything.
I can feel that.
Murdoch says, remember they hinted the Trade Federation and Fallen Order. I don't remember them hinting at it, but I could totally see
I
it.
vaguely remember it, but I don't remember like how in depth they got it. So
Yeah. Joe says, do you think this could be as good as Ragnarok?
I mean, to be fair, that's an unfair comparison because, in my opinion, because they have Stig, so the combat is comparable to God of War, but I
Mhm.
don't think Fallen Order was up there with 2018, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
at least storytelling wise. So that's a big ask to them to even be sniff Ragnarok. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think it will be better than Fallen Order, but
Yeah.
to compare it just because you also think Stig was there in the old times when God of War was
Mhm.
just a rage monster and he killed everything.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way.
Yeah, definitely. I think the storytelling is going to be good. The combat, of course, is going to be fantastic. I don't think it will be close to Ragnarok, just because I think we will get another Fallen Order or another in this series, just
Yeah.
because it's doing so well. But
Yeah.
like Ragnarok was like the end of the Norse mythology,
Yeah.
so it had a lot more stakes to it. I'm not sure though. This might be the last one, but hey, it's making money, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they definitely did have companions. Like they had the Night Sister with him doing stuff, and then they had that dude that they did like the bro handshake and everything.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering how much they use that within the game. How many times are we like paired up with somebody?
Yeah.
But the big guy that I was saying that is like Dirge, the bounty
Mhm.
hunter, the race is the Jedi. But you could see
Okay.
like his like arm was all like those like snake looking things. And
Yeah.
if you ever watched the Clone Wars, the animated series, that dude was really, really difficult to kill. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy. So
Mm.
I'm excited for it. I think I just need to be like in the right mentality. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, and again, coming 9 days after Burning Shores, like
Yeah, it like Burning Shores will be when I get to it. I'm gonna just be honest.
yeah.
Like it's not gonna
Yeah,
be
that's fair.
like I do want to play it, but it's like I gotta finish Requiem. Like that's
Yeah.
my game that I'm working on right now. But
I'm not even going to talk about what I need to finish, but
yeah, you need to finish so many games. Don't even come at me, bro. Don't even come at me. But yeah, I'm excited for Star Wars Survivor, and we hope that you are too. But guys, that is it. That's the show. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll be back next week. Derek will be back next week.
yeah, I'm going to run the show solo, baby.
Yeah, Derek is solo on the show next week. So come in and check out the show. Be a part of it. Comment, all that good stuff. And make sure, guys, to like the video, because this has been Zach.
Oh, gosh, I wasn't ready for this. And Bertoni Lanucci.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye.